Stables Bastion is widely known as the most complicated bastion to learn to route due to the random generation of the ramparts. Most people are scared to even start learning it due to the insane number of variations it can have. In this video, I'll show you how to identify the most important parts of the bastion and choose the optimal route so that it never confuses you again. In order to route stables, you first have to know how to identify that you are in a stables bastion. This is very easy in relation to things like bridge or treasure, but it does look very similar to housing, especially when you can't see the full thing. The most notable feature of stables are the hoglins, which do not spawn in housing. The hoglins don't always spawn, however, so sometimes you need other clues. The stables portion of the bastion has very flush and flat outer walls, while housing is asymmetrical and feels very random. Stables has a clear split down the middle of it, whereas housing has a nether wart and a chest in the center. One of the more notable features of stables are the chest locations. At the very bottom of the center section, there will always be a single chest in stables. This leads to this very specific staircase up the middle, which is another important feature. The top 3 ramparts generate one of 3 different types randomly. They can be either a single, which is the shortest and contains only 1 chest in the back here. They can be a lantern, which is medium height and contains 2 chests, 1 single up top and 1 down below next to the lantern. And lastly, it can be a triple rampart with 1 single and 1 double chest. This is the tallest of the 3 rampart types. You can tell it's a triple from the top of stables by looking at this basalt formation on the stairs leading up to it. Using this indicator alone though can be confused with housing because housing always generates a triple in the right rampart. If you happen to find yourself in the top part of the bastion first, there's a rule with the chests. Housing will always have a 3-block space between the single and the double chests of the triple. Stables only has a 2-block gap. There are many other ways to tell that you're in a stables bastion, but these are the most notable features to look for. The most important rampart generation to look for is the triple. This is because they're guaranteed to spawn 4 golden blocks under the triple chest, which also has valuable loot in it. These can be used for the routes that I'll discuss later on. The big takeaway here is knowing how to identify which type each rampart is so that you can determine the optimal route to take. Now that we've discussed the top rampart generation, it's important to note how the bottom generates. The center is always a staircase and either side can have either a good or a bad gap, which is just a name coined for if the area has spawned gold blocks. If you're playing ranked mode, you're guaranteed at least 1 good gap with the possibility of 2. A bad gap contains a single chest with a chance for obsidian in it, so it can still be important to know how to access it. There are 3 key areas to help identify which side is the good gap. Starting from the chest at the bottom of the stairs, you can mine 1 block here to check the left rampart. If it's black stone behind it, it means it's good gap. If it's just air or netherrack, it means you have a bad gap there. On the way up the stairs, you can check the right rampart by looking at this block. If it's cracked, it means there's a bad gap, and if it isn't, it means you have a good gap. Alternatively, you can mine this corner block. If there's air behind it, it's good gap. If it's black stone, bad gap. At the top of the stairs, you can check for left rampart by mining this block. Once again, if there's air behind it, it's good gap. If there's black stone behind it, it's bad gap. If you're on top of the stables, you can look at these blocks. If the hole is only 1 tall, you have a good gap below you. If it's 2 tall, you have a bad gap in the section below. Lastly, you can check this hole which only spawns in triple chest ramparts to see whether you have a good or bad gap below. A hole that leads to a staircase indicates the bad gap, and if it's sealed off, it's a good gap. This hole is very commonly passed for triple to gap routes, and you can use it to check either left or right ramparts before even starting the route. An important part of the route is knowing how to loot the triple chests and find the gold. A dangerous way is to check the chests and then throw out anything golden by pressing Q quickly. This will buy you enough time to check both chests. If you're unlucky, however, there's nothing golden in it and you'll just die. Instead, come down this staircase. You want to go for the hole that's up top, not down below. If you go down this hole, you just find this little lantern room and pillar up 2 blocks. Tucking into the corner should prevent the pigs from getting you, but sometimes they'll get 1 hit off. Just dig up until you find the triple chest and you can loot it now safely. If you mine this block, you can aim at the 2 bottom pixels of this block and then jump and spam right click. This will allow you to access the single chest. Now to locate the gold, you just dig back down. If you want a quicker funnel down, you can mine this block, and it'll allow the piglins to come down when you start mining the gold. The 4 gold blocks are down this very distinctive hallway. You can also mine this block instead of the one before to let piglins down when you start mining. Place that block, and then you have 4 gold blocks here that you can mine. You don't have to access it from this hallway. You can also go down this way, but it just takes longer. This is the route you'd take if you started on top of the stables, however, as opposed to in the ramparts. Simply walk over this way, and you'll see it starts to kind of snake around to the left to bring you back to where that other hole exits. So this is the lantern room where you start to pillar up and get the triple chest loot. When you're done looting the chests, once again, you just come down here and go to this distinct hallway with that little jut out, and the 4 gold blocks are right here. The first route I'll show you is called double triple, which should always be prioritized when you can. If you have 2 triple chests next to each other, you should start with this route because it gets a lot of pigs trading very quickly. Come down between the 2 triple bastions. You'll see this hole right here made of basalt, and you're just looking for the lowest point. Then mine 3 to the left, and one to the right. If it's a left and middle triple, you don't have to do anything else. However, if it's a right and middle double triple and you come down to dig the holes, you'll need to look out for this hole underneath the left side. Pigs can get stuck in here, so you just pillar up 2 blocks to build them a little staircase. Now continue the route the same way. You can mine this gold out, dig down 2 for a piglin trading hole, start mining the gold, and then dig 1 down, place the block above you so none of the pigs can get into your hole. Now you can convert the gold to ingots, throw it in the trading hole to get the pigs trading. Now this is where it gets a little difficult. You can mine that other block to the left, but careful for late pigs, which sometimes show up really late. If these were sword piglins, you can take a lot of damage, so you gotta be careful and just hang out near your hole for a little bit. Run through the hallway you previously dug and then come up to the right. Cap this off so no late pigs can get you. Sometimes you'll have a straggler that can still sneak up on you. If you look under the polished black stone, it's the same 4 gold. We're just accessing it from a different point. If you have any pigs waiting for you at the dirt blocks that were late, you can throw them a distraction gold. Otherwise, just run over here, throw the rest of your gold in the hole, and wait for trades. At this point, you can check the triple chests for any obby or anything else you might need, or you could also just scan for fortress, organize your inventory, do any crafting, anything you might need to do in this time. When you're done, just go back down to the hole, grab your trades, and you can leave pretty quickly. That route's very easy to remember, but it's also situational. I'm going to show you the only 5 triple to gap routes you actually need. Middle triple to gap is one of the more simple ones. Start at the 4 gold under the triple chest. You throw a distraction gold, wait for them to get distracted, and then come over here and mine down 2 blocks. Be ready to throw a gold so it distracts these piglins here. You can see how much damage I take just because I didn't throw a preemptive gold. You can use these blocks to hold the pigs above you like a little checkpoint. Use this time to mine the wall to check for good gap. In the next route, I'll show you what to do if it's bad. When it's a left triple middle lantern, you start by getting the 4 gold blocks under the triple as always. You throw 1 gold, wait for the pigs to get distracted, then run out here up to the top. Pay attention to when I throw gold along this route. This is very common areas for the pigs to be sitting. Throw a gold down here, mine down, and break the chest. This aggroes all pigs in nearby areas. You'll remember from earlier you can mine that block to check for gap. I see there it's a bad gap, so I just throw a gold and walk down the stairs. I'm guaranteed a good gap here in ranked mode. You can build this little wall to make a checkpoint, and you can see how many pigs are funneling in at this point. When you mine through here to good gap, it's common for pigs to be on the other side, which you can see here. So just throw a gold to distract them. Now mine this last block and it'll allow them all up. You can punch a pig to re-aggro all of them if you're worried about it, and then just start your good gap route. If you do this method from the top to the bottom of the stairs, you don't ever actually even need to know which one's the good gap before starting your route. Every time you basically just do the same thing where you go from triple to the middle rampart and then down the stairs. Now the same route but a right side triple middle lantern. Same start, mine the gold under the triple, throw a distraction block and then come out here. Instead this time you're going to dig down these 2 blocks, place one so you don't take fall damage. Sometimes you need to throw a distraction there. Make your way into this far corner of the room and get in the hole. Cap it off so none of the pigs can hit you, and then mine through 3 to get to this other side. Throw a distraction for any of the pigs waiting there for you, and then mine those 2 blocks out so you can run through here. You can wait for the pigs a little bit in case they de-aggro, or just come over here, mine the chest, and make your way down to the gaps once again. This point can get a little hectic, especially with all these pigs here, so you can actually just throw a bunch of gold to avoid taking these hits like I do. If left side isn't good gap, it's a little easier because you can just trail all the pigs down to right side like I showed before. Next is left triple middle single. Same as always, you mine the 4 gold blocks, then come out here and distract the piggies. On this route, you actually want to go intentionally a little slower. There's many ways to do this, but I find this one works the best for me. You walk around on the roof a little bit and just snake around. As you can see, all the late piggies are coming up now. Place and mine a gold block just to re-aggro everyone in the area, and then throw some gold down there for the piggies that are underneath. You can mine this chest, wait for them once again, and start throwing some distraction gold. You should have a huge train behind you, and now you can just start with your gaps again. You can use these 2 blocks to cap it off and give yourself a little checkpoint. This just saves you some distraction gold while you mine through that gap. Also, if you use gilded, it re-aggros them when you break it. Right side triple, middle single. When you start this route, you can actually come down, break this block that allows pigs down, and preemptively place a block below you. You don't have to place it in advance, but it makes the next part a little bit easier in my opinion. You mine the 4 gold blocks as per usual, and you start the route. Now throw your distraction, and you can just run out to the block you were just on. Drop down while avoiding fall damage, and throw as much gold as you need to distract them while you break the chest. As a general rule here, if you haven't realized, you just throw distraction gold at any choke points, because it takes about a second for the pigs to realize that you've actually thrown it. And that's it. Those are the only 5 you actually really need. Everything else you just kind of have to figure out on the fly. For example, if you don't get enough obby, you need more gold, or go to the bad gap chest. Now that you made it to good gap, I'll show you how to finish the route. Break the block you placed on the stairs to let the pigs down, and mine that block in the roof. There's always at least 1 or 2 pigs above you, and it's very important you get it because there's 2 gold blocks up there that you'll be going for later. The reason you dig down and create this little trading window is so the pigs path into the hole naturally. Cap off the stairs again before proceeding. Come over here and you can dig down to get these 6 gold blocks. There aren't always 6, but there's a chance for them to spawn, so check all these locations. Once you've collected all the gold, you can make your way back over to the trading hole and convert it to ingots. Sometimes this is more than enough gold to get all of your trades that you need, but if you still need more, you can pillar up on this block and there's 1 gold that spawns up here usually, and 1 more up here hidden in the wall. Go back down the way that you came up with your dirt blocks, and then when you're finished, you can tuck into this little corner to grab all your trades and pearl out the back if you want to. Another way to finish the route is called beef salad hole or auto funnel. Aggro the piggies, bring them down here, and cut off this section where they can sometimes fall into. Place blocks in the exact location I show here to make your auto funnel. Break this block and walk backwards to clip through the floor, and place that block before any pigs can make it out of the hole. Throw the gold in the hole to get them trading, and break this block above the one you placed to let the pigs above down. Now this variation is very dangerous and only saves about a few seconds, so quite honestly I wouldn't even bother learning it until you're super experienced with all the triple to gap routes. This next route can be used if either side rampart is a triple and it's directly above a good gap. It's exactly the same until you get to the good gap, and then there's a slight variation, which I'll show. Take the same path as if you were doing a right triple to lantern, but instead this time you're not going to go to the left hole, but you're going to cap off the right one and go to this corner. Mine down 1, place the block above you, and then dig down 3. Mine through this wall, and now you're in the top of good gap. You can mine this block to allow the pigs down and throw a bunch of gold to mine out this wall, which will connect the middle rampart. If you're doing this from the right rampart, this is where things slightly change. After letting the pigs down, you re-aggro them and go down the stairs. Block their path off with this 1 block. Basically what we've done here is skip the middle rampart, but we don't have very many pigs as you can see here, so we still want to connect the middle rampart. Dig down these 3 blocks to allow the pigs from the middle up. They might be angry still, so be ready to drop something golden for them. Now you can mine the block, punch a pig, and start your good gap route. These last routes are good if you want to check both gaps during your route. From my experience, I feel like you get less pigs doing these ones though, so they should only really be used if you've kind of messed up, in my opinion. What I mean by that is this is a good substitute for if you thought there was a good gap below you, but it turns out to be a bad gap. So you start as if you're going left triple to left good gap, you come down to the hole and realize this is a bad gap actually. So you throw these golds and continue down. This is called the hourglass route. Place these blocks and make your way through here. Place that block and you can start digging down. This is kind of a little checkpoint where you can punch the pigs or something. You don't need to if you're fast enough though, but this brings you right to bad gap where you can check this chest. Sometimes there's obby in there, so it can be beneficial, but once again, I feel like you get less pigs if you go down this route. Run through here and just be ready for pigs coming around the corner. You can see here they kind of ambush me right here, but place these blocks and mine through this good gap. Those blocks are very important so the pigs don't fall in the hole. Now you can just start your good gap route. This is what to do if the same thing happens in the right rampart. Once again, you've dug down, you think you're gonna go right to right, but you realize, oh, it's a bad gap. Instead of digging down the stairs, you just walk down them this time and look for this little hole here. Cap this off so the pigs can't get up, but you have to be quick here because they can still jump from above. Now you've made it to the middle stairs, so you can just go up here and do your left good gap, which is guaranteed in ranked mode. You can cap these off. You can see here I left that little hole so the pigs above can get down as well. Once I punch these guys, you should be able to get enough pigs to come down. That's probably the worst route because you don't even get the bad gap chest, but at least you're not dead. You've made it to good gap. It's not the end of the world. Now for a few bonus tips, if the middle rampart's a single like you see here, you can actually just mine down this corner to get into the middle staircase, but it's a little bit more difficult if you're not quick to cap it off. So if this side turns out to be a bad gap and the pigs are already down there, it becomes a little bit hectic, but it is useful to know. The other thing is to know how to get to the bad gap chests very quickly. So if you're at this middle staircase and the right is bad, you can just dig through this wall and make it down to the single chest here. This is really useful if you're down by like 5 obby and you just need a little bit. As you can see, that chest spawned some this time. So if my trades are bad, that would have been the saving grace between that or having to go trade more. If it's left side bad gap, you just walk along this path you use for the hourglass route, and you can dig through this wall to get to the single chest pretty quickly. My goal with this stables video is to simplify it as much as possible, so let me know how I did, please. And if even a single one of you learned something, that's a W for me.